In today's video, I'm answering a question that I recently saw a Careblazer post inside of my Careblazer community on Facebook. So this Careblazer noticed that her loved one was no longer eating foods that he used to enjoy. His favorite foods, just wasn't interested in them at all, kind of said food just didn't taste good anymore, and has been starting to lose weight, and she was wondering what might be causing this. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about one of the most common reasons an older person with dementia might no longer have an appetite, and I'll share with you some ideas for what you can do to help work through this and increase their appetite. The reason this is an important topic is because when loss of appetite occurs, it could lead to weight loss, it can lead to symptoms of depression, it can lead to nutrition problems, nutrition deficiencies, and even skin problems. So let's get started. I want to share this. First, before I actually get into that, I do want to let you know there's only 2 days left of the year. Can you believe that? So if you're watching this live when it releases on Sunday, there's 2 days left, and that means there's 2 days left to take advantage of my 3-part mini series on managing caregiver stress and difficult dementia behaviors. It's available all the time, but in the next 2 days, it's 50% off. So there's a special code you can click on, get 50% off, get access to those 3 videos, really go into the new year feeling like you are prepared and confident to not only manage your own stress about the caregiving situation, but manage some of those difficult behaviors. Links below the video. Now, there are many different reasons why somebody with dementia may no longer seem to have an appetite and no longer want to eat food. So it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Make sure you are talking to your loved one's healthcare provider just about what you're noticing with their appetite changes, because it is sometimes happens where an older adult will have difficulty with swallowing. They might require special diets. So just keep in mind before I share this information and some of the ideas to handle it, you just want to make sure you've cleared all of this with your loved one's healthcare provider. One of the main reasons why an older adult with dementia starts to lose their appetite is because they've lost their sense of smell. Most people with dementia who are complaining of no appetite and food not tasting good is actually an issue with their smell no longer working. Ever notice how when you've been kind of sick and under the weather with a cold that your appetite is reduced and you don't really seem like you want to eat a lot of food? That has a lot to do with your loss of smell when you're sick. In fact, loss of appetite, like our smell, is really important when it comes to having an appetite. In fact, approximately 90% of those with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease dementia, and Lewy Body dementia have moderate to severe loss of smell. In fact, loss of smell can be an early detector of dementia. The University of Pennsylvania even has a test called the Smell Identification Test, and it's used to determine whether someone's sense of smell is reduced. In fact, research using the smell identification test shows that people who perform well on it are much less likely to go on to develop dementia than people who do poorly on it. In fact, reduced smell, loss of smell, is an early predictor. It's one of the first signs of Alzheimer's disease or other memory problems. So loss of smell is common in dementia, and smell is really important for appetite. So when the smell is reduced, appetite's reduced, which leads to all kinds of concerns like malnutrition, skin problems, depression, weight loss. But it's also quite a concern because it means that the person with dementia might not be able to smell or detect rotten food, leading them to eat food that may have spoiled. You know, like sometimes you can take leftovers out of the fridge, or there might be something that you forgot about in the fridge, and when you open it up you can tell that it's bad based on the smell. The person with dementia might not be able to do that, so loss of smell is even more of a concern. So what can you do about this? First, try to make the food as appealing as possible. Since ability to smell food is lower, you want to try to make food as appealing through other ways. You want to think about colors, appearance, texture. Foods that stay in the mouth longer also tend to stimulate more taste buds, and these are things like sticky, thick, and creamy foods. Again, make sure you're alerting their healthcare provider for what's going on, because some of these diets are not safe for somebody who has swallowing problems. Another thing is to experiment and get creative. Things that they may not have eaten much in the past, things they didn't like in the past, they might start eating now. So don't let your thoughts about what they liked and didn't like in the past stop you with experimenting with new foods now. Since smell is reduced, flavors need to be stronger for them to taste it. So experiment with different spices, even spices they may have never heard of before, or they've never had, or they've never liked. The stronger the flavor, the more likely they're going to be able to taste the food, and this can help stimulate appetite. Also, taste buds for sweeter foods are some of the last taste buds to disappear. So you might want to try to mix in some sweeter things with meals. I've even known Careblazers who like to mix honey or some other type of sweetener in with the food, and maybe even put it on the tip of their spoon or fork as they get their loved one to eat the rest of the food that's on the fork or spoon, because that sweetness engages with their taste buds. Don't overload the plate with a ton of food. Smaller, more regular meals and snacks may work better than 3 larger meals throughout the day. Also, if they refuse to eat, don't try to force it at that time. Come back in a few minutes and try again. Try to make mealtime as fun as possible. Engage in conversation, play some good music, talk to them about some of their favorite foods growing up. Just talking about some of those foods can help stimulate their appetite in the moment. What tips do you have for your loved one with dementia to help encourage them to eat food? I've had Careblazers use like fun straws to help their loved one drink more water during the day. I've had Careblazers play around with milkshakes and smoothies to help get their loved ones have more calories during the day. What do you use to help get your loved one to eat more if you're struggling with your loved one kind of getting the right nutrition? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And if you know another Careblazer who might benefit from this or has been struggling with their loved one not eating, you can share this video with them and see if it'll help them out. As always, Careblazer, I'm going to be back next week with another video. It's going to be 2020. I can't believe it. A whole new year, a whole new decade. Let's make this a good one. Let's get all the information we can, all the support we can, do what we can to make this caregiving journey as successful as possible. I look forward to going on it with you. I'll be back next week. Bye.